The wheelchair made no sound on the marble floor. That was the worst part. Daniel Cole sat perfectly still in his chair, staring out the tall window at the garden below. His pale blue eyes followed a robin hopping across the grass. The bird jumped again. Then it flew away into the autumn sky. Daniel's legs hadn't moved in 2 years. Daniel. His father's voice echoed through the enormous hallway. Time for lunch, son. Richard Cole walked into the room, his expensive shoes clicking against the floor. Click, click, click. Everything in this house made noise except Daniel's wheelchair. Richard hated that silence more than anything in the world. He pushed his son toward the dining room. Past paintings worth millions of dollars, past furniture older than some countries. None of it mattered. Richard would burn it all down if it meant Daniel could run again. I'm not hungry, Dad, Daniel whispered. You need to eat, Richard said, but his voice was tired. So tired, they'd been to 43 doctors. Richard had counted every single one. Doctors in New York, doctors in London, a specialist in Switzerland who cost more money than most people earn in 10 years. They all said the same thing. We're sorry, Mr. Cole. There's nothing physically wrong. But Daniel's legs simply won't work. One doctor called it conversion disorder. Another said psychosomatic paralysis. Big, fancy words that meant the same thing. Daniel's mind had locked his legs away, and nobody could find the key. Richard had tried everything. Physical therapy, special exercises, new medicines, prayer. Nothing worked. His son remained trapped in that chair, and Richard remained trapped in his helplessness. Can we go outside? Daniel asked suddenly. Just for a little while? Richard looked at his son's hopeful face and felt his heart crack. Of course. Where do you want to go? The plaza, the one with the fountain. 20 minutes later, they sat in the warm October sunshine in the city plaza. The fountain splashed and sparkled. People walked past eating ice cream and laughing. Children ran and played. Daniel watched them all with those sad, pale eyes. Richard checked his phone for the 100th time. Another email from another doctor. Another dead end. He wanted to throw the phone into the fountain. Excuse me. The voice was small but clear. Richard looked up. A little girl stood in front of them, barefoot on the concrete. Her dress was too big and had patches sewn on the elbows. Her dark hair was messy and tangled. Dirt smudged her cheek. She couldn't have been older than 8. We're not giving money, Richard said automatically, his voice sharp. He'd learned to protect Daniel from strangers. I don't want money, the girl said. She looked right at Daniel, not at Richard. I want to play. Daniel's eyes went wide. Nobody ever asked him to play anymore. We're busy, Richard said, putting his hand on Daniel's wheelchair. No, we're not, Daniel said quietly. Then louder, we're not busy, Dad. The girl smiled. It was a kind of smile that seemed too big for such a small, dirty face. I'm Maya. What's your name? Daniel. Hi, Daniel. Do you like games? Daniel nodded slowly. Maya stepped closer. Richard's body tensed, ready to pull Daniel away. But something stopped him. Maybe it was the way Daniel was sitting up straighter. Maybe it was a tiny spark of interest in his son's eyes. Something Richard hadn't seen in months. I know the best game, Maya said. It's called Remember When. You close your eyes and remember something really, really good. Then you tell me. And I tell you something good I remember. Want to try? Daniel looked at his father. Richard wanted to say no. Wanted to will Daniel away from this strange, barefoot girl who probably hadn't had a bath in days. But Daniel was actually smiling. Just a little bit. But it was there. Okay, Daniel whispered. Maya clapped her hands together. Yes. Okay, close your eyes. Daniel closed his eyes. Maya closed hers too. Remember when you could run, Maya said softly. Remember how your feet felt when they hit the ground. Remember how the wind fell on your face. Can you remember? Daniel's face scrunched up. A tear rolled down his cheek. Richard stood up. That's enough. I remember, Daniel said, his eyes still closed. I remember running in the backyard. I remember jumping in puddles. I remember. His voice broke. I remember dancing with Mom before she died. Richard froze. Daniel never talked about his mother. Not since the accident 3 years ago. Not since the car crash that took her away and left them both shattered. Maya opened her eyes. They were bright and fierce. Good. That's very good. Now it's my turn. She took a deep breath. I remember my mama singing to me. I remember being warm. I remember feeling safe. She opened her eyes and looked at Daniel. Your memories are still there. They didn't go anywhere. Your legs remember too. They're just scared. Scared of what? Daniel asked. Scared of falling. Scared of hurting. Scared of being left alone. Maya reached out her hand. But you're not alone. I'm here now. Want to try something? Richard should have said no. Should have grabbed Daniel and left. This was crazy. This was a homeless child who probably needed help herself. But he stood there, frozen, watching. What do we do? Daniel asked. Maya grinned. We play handshake. She reached out both hands. Daniel looked at his father one more time. Richard saw the question in his eyes. Can I trust her? Slowly, Richard nodded. Daniel reached out and took Maya's hands. And for the first time in 2 years, something changed. Richard couldn't explain it, couldn't see it, but he felt it in the air like electricity before a storm. Maya squeezed Daniel's hands and started to sing a little song. Hand to hand, heart to heart, this is how the healing starts. Daniel laughed, actually laughed, a real, genuine sound that Richard had almost forgotten. Again, Daniel said. Maya squeezed his hands again. Hand to hand, heart to heart, this is how the healing starts. They did it 5 times, 10 times, 20 times. Each time, Daniel laughed louder. Each time, his face grew brighter. People walking past stopped to watch. Some smiled. Some recorded it on their phones. Richard didn't care. He couldn't look away from his son's face, because Daniel looked alive again. After a while, Maya let go and stepped back. Tomorrow, she said, we'll do more. Meet me here. Same time. Wait, Richard said, finally finding his voice. Where do you live? Do you have parents? Do you need? Tomorrow, Maya repeated. She looked at Daniel. You're going to be okay. I promise. Then she turned and walked away, her bare feet silent on the concrete. Daniel watched her go, his hands still outstretched, as if holding on to invisible hope. Dad, he said quietly. Yes, son? My legs tingled. Just for a second. I felt them. Richard's breath caught in his throat. He knelt down beside the wheelchair and took Daniel's hands, the same hands Maya had just held. We'll come back tomorrow, Richard promised. And for the first time in 2 years, he actually believed that tomorrow might be different. That night, Daniel couldn't sleep. He lay in his enormous bed, staring at the ceiling, wiggling his toes. Were they moving? He couldn't tell. Maybe he was imagining it. Maybe he wanted it so badly that his brain was playing tricks on him. But the tingling had been real. He knew it had been real. Maya, he whispered to the darkness, please come back. In the next room, Richard couldn't sleep either. He sat at his desk, the lamp casting shadows across piles of medical reports and bills. 43 doctors, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And none of them had made Daniel laugh like that barefoot girl had done in 10 minutes. He opened his laptop and searched. Child homelessness in the city. Thousands of results appeared. Pictures of kids sleeping on benches. Kids digging through trash cans. Kids with dirty faces and torn clothes. Kids like Maya. Richard's chest tightened. Where was she sleeping tonight? Was she safe? Was she hungry? He closed the laptop. Tomorrow, he would find her. Tomorrow, he would help her. And maybe, just maybe, she would help Daniel again. The next day felt like the longest day of Daniel's life. Every minute crawled by like an hour. Lunch took forever. The afternoon stretched on and on. Finally, it was time. Ready? Richard asked, grabbing the wheelchair. I've been ready since breakfast, Daniel said. They arrived at the plaza 15 minutes early. Daniel's heart pounded as he scanned the crowd. No Maya. He checked the fountain. No, Maya. He looked at the benches. No, Maya. What if she doesn't come? Daniel whispered. She'll come, Richard said, though he wasn't sure he believed it. What if she'd been a dream? What if they never saw her again? Daniel. They both spun around. There was Maya running toward them, her bare feet slapping against the concrete. She wore the same patched dress, but her face was cleaner today. She'd washed. Maybe in the fountain, Richard thought sadly. You came back. Maya said, breathless and grinning. You said to, Daniel replied, grinning just as wide. Maya plopped down on the ground in front of the wheelchair. Today we do more. Today we make your legs remember bigger things. She looked up at Richard. You have to trust me. Can you do that? Richard hesitated. Every instinct screamed at him to protect Daniel, to keep him safe, to not let hope in because hope hurt when it died. But Daniel was looking at him with those pale blue eyes, and in them Richard saw something he hadn't seen in 2 years. Belief. I trust you, Richard said quietly. Maya clapped her hands. Perfect. Okay, Daniel, give me your hands again. Daniel reached out immediately. No hesitation this time. Maya took his hands and closed her eyes. Feel my hands, she said. Feel how warm they are. Feel my pulse beating. That's life, Daniel. That's energy. Now, I'm going to send that energy down into your legs. You're going to help me. Okay. How? Daniel asked. By believing it will work. Maya said simply. She squeezed his hands tight. Hand to hand. Heart to heart. This is how the healing starts. Feel the warmth. Feel it moving down your arms. Down, down, down. Through your chest. Through your belly. Down into your legs. Daniel closed his eyes. At first, he felt nothing. Just Maya's hands in his. But then, I feel it, he whispered. It's warm. It's moving. Good. Maya said, don't let go. Keep feeling it. Richard watched, his hands clenched at his sides. He wanted to believe. He wanted it so desperately that his whole body ached. Now, Maya said, her voice stronger. We're going to clap, but not regular clapping. Magic clapping. Every time we clap, we're telling your legs to wake up. Ready? She let go of one hand and kept holding the other. Clap with your free hand against mine. Like this. She demonstrated. 1, 2, 3, clap. 1, 2, 3, clap. Daniel clapped with her. The sound echoed across the plaza. People stopped to watch again. Louder. Maya said, your legs can't hear you. Daniel clapped harder. 1, 2, 3, clap. That's it. Maya laughed. Again. 1, 2, 3, clap. Again. 1, 2, 3, clap. They clapped and clapped and clapped. 20 times. 30 times. Daniel's palm turned red, but he didn't care. With every clap, he felt more alive, more real, more possible. Finally, Maya stopped. She was breathing hard, and her eyes were shining. Daniel, she said seriously, I need to tell you something true. What? Your legs aren't broken. They never were. Your heart is broken. Your heart is sad because you miss your mama. And when your heart got too sad, it locked your legs away to keep you safe. Because if you can't run, you can't run away from the sadness. Do you understand? Tears rolled down Daniel's cheeks. He did understand. He understood perfectly. But here's the secret, Maya continued, wiping his tears with her dirty sleeve. You don't have to run away from sadness. You can walk through it. You can carry it with you and still move forward. Your mama would want you to move forward. How do you know? Daniel sobbed. Because my mama wanted that for me too, Maya said softly. Before she went to heaven, she told me, Maya, no matter what happens, keep moving, keep living, keep loving. So that's what I do, even when I'm scared, even when I'm alone. I keep moving. Richard's eyes were wet now too. This little girl, this small, homeless, brave little girl, understood grief in a way all those expensive doctors never could. Will you help me move? Daniel asked. I already am, Maya smiled. She stood up and walked behind the wheelchair. But first, we need to try something. Close your eyes. Daniel closed his eyes. Now, Maya said, put her hands on his shoulders, I want you to imagine your mama standing right in front of you. Can you see her? Yes, Daniel whispered. What is she doing? She's smiling. She's holding out her hands. Good. She wants to dance with you. Daniel, like you used to. Can you feel it? Can you feel her hands pulling you up? Daniel's breathing quickened. I can feel it. Then stand up, Maya said simply. Stand up and dance with her. I can't. Yes, you can, Maya insisted, her voice fierce and gentle at the same time. Your legs remember. Your heart is ready. Stand up, Daniel. Stand up for your mama. Stand up for yourself. Stand up for everyone who loves you. Richard held his breath. This was impossible. Daniel hadn't stood in 2 years. This couldn't work. It wouldn't work. It was crazy. Daniel's legs trembled. Richard saw it. The tiny movement. The microscopic shift. That's it. Maya encouraged. Come on, Daniel. You can do it. Daniel gripped the armrests of his wheelchair. His knuckles turned white. His face scrunched up with concentration and effort and fear and hope all mixed together. And then his left leg moved. Just an inch. But it moved. Daniel gasped. Dad, did you see? I saw it. Richard choked out. I saw it, son. Do it again. Please do it again. Daniel closed his eyes tighter. Sweat beaded on his forehead. His whole body shook with effort. His right leg moved, then his left again. Stand up. Maya shouted, stand up right now. And Daniel pushed. He pushed with every bit of strength he had. He pushed with his arms and his heart and his hope. He pushed against 2 years of fear and loss and grief. He pushed until his bottom lifted off the seat. Just for a second. Just for one beautiful, impossible second. Then he collapsed back down, gasping and crying and laughing all at once. I did it. Dad, did you see? I almost stood. I almost. Richard fell to his knees beside the wheelchair and wrapped his arms around his son. You did it, he sobbed. You did it, Daniel. You're going to walk again. I know you are. Maya knelt down beside them, completing the circle. She put one hand on Daniel's knee and one hand on Richard's shoulder. Tomorrow, she said quietly, he'll stand all the way. And the day after that, he'll take a step. I promise. Richard looked at this dirty, beautiful, impossible girl, and he knew what he had to do. Maya, he said, where are your parents? Maya's smile faded. Gone. Gone where? Heaven. Both of them. Last winter. They got sick. Where do you live? Different places. Bus stations. The library. Sometimes a shelter if there's room. Richard's heart shattered and reformed in the same moment. No more, he said firmly. You're coming home with us. Maya's eyes went wide. What? You heard me. You're not sleeping in bus stations anymore. You're not sleeping anywhere cold or dangerous. You're coming home. Tonight. Right now. But I'm nobody, Maya whispered. No, Daniel said, grabbing her hand. You're the person who gave me my legs back. You're my friend. Your family. Maya looked at Richard, her eyes full of questions and fear and desperate hope. I mean it, Richard said. Pack your things, whatever you have, and come with us. I don't have things, Maya said. Just me? Then just you is enough, Richard replied. And right there, in the plaza, under the autumn sun, 3 broken people became one family. The black town car pulled up to the plaza at exactly 3 o'clock the next day. Richard had barely slept. Maya had slept in the guest room, her first real bed in months, and had cried when she saw it. Daniel hadn't slept at all. He'd spent the entire night wiggling his toes, moving his legs tiny bits, feeling the muscles wake up like flowers opening to the sun. Now they were back, all 3 of them, ready for the miracle. A crowd had already gathered. Word spread on social media about the boy in the wheelchair and the barefoot girl who made him laugh. People held up their phones, recording. Some brought flowers. An old woman brought cookies. Ignore them, Maya said, taking Daniel's hands. This is just for us. Okay, Daniel said. Richard stood behind the wheelchair, his heart hammering so hard he thought everyone could hear it. What if it didn't work today? What if yesterday was just luck? What if... Stop thinking scary thoughts, Maya said, looking at Richard. I can feel them from here. Believe or go stand over there. Richard blinked. Then he laughed, actually laughed. Yes, ma'am. Maya turned back to Daniel. Today is different. Today you don't just lift up. Today you stand. Today you stay standing. And if you can, you take one step. Just one. That's all. Can you do that? Daniel's face was pale. What if I fall? Then I'll catch you, Maya said simply. That's what friends do. She positioned herself in front of the wheelchair and held out both hands. But you won't fall, because your legs remember. They've been remembering all night. They're ready. Are you ready? Daniel looked at his father. Richard nodded, tears already streaming down his face. I'm ready, Daniel said. Then close your eyes, Maya instructed. And this time, don't imagine your mama. Imagine yourself. Imagine Daniel Cole, 7 years old, running through a field. The grass is soft under your feet. The sun is warm on your face. You're laughing. You're free. Can you see it? Yes, Daniel whispered. Can you feel it? Yes. Then open your eyes, Maya said, and make it real. Daniel opened his eyes. Maya was smiling at him, her hand steady and strong. Hand to hand, heart to heart. This is how the healing starts, Maya sang. But this time we had new words. Hand to hand, heart to heart, feet to ground, this is how we stand. She squeezed his hands. Say it with me. Hand to hand, heart to heart, feet to ground, this is how we stand, Daniel repeated. Louder. Hand to hand, heart to heart, feet to ground, this is how we stand. The crowd fell silent. Even the fountain seemed to quiet. The whole world held its breath. Now, Maya said, her voice dropping to a whisper. Push. Daniel gripped her hands. His legs trembled. His arms shook. Sweat dripped down his face. Push harder, Maya urged. Your legs are strong. They've been resting for 2 years. They're ready to work. Push. Daniel pushed. His bottom lifted off the seat. Higher this time. Higher than yesterday. Don't stop. Maya shouted. Keep pushing. I've got you. Richard wanted to run forward and help, but something kept him frozen. This was Daniel's moment. Daniel's victory. Daniel's face turned red with effort. A vein popped out on his forehead. He made a sound, half grunt, half cry, and pushed with everything he had. And then his feet touched the ground. The crowd gasped. That's IT. Maya screamed. Your feet are on the ground. Now straighten your legs. Stand up all the way. Daniel's legs wobbled like jelly. They shook so hard that it looked like they might give out any second, but they didn't give out. They held. Slowly, inch by inch, Daniel straightened his legs. He rose. He stood. For the first time in 2 years, Daniel Cole was standing on his own 2 feet. The crowd exploded in cheers. People cried. People clapped. Someone started singing. Camera flashes went off like fireworks. But Daniel didn't see any of it. He only saw Maya, still holding his hands, tears streaming down her dirty face. You did it, she whispered. You're standing. I'm standing, Daniel said, his voice full of wonder. Maya, I'm actually standing. Do you want to try a step? She asked gently. Daniel looked down at his feet. They seemed so far away, so unfamiliar. Could he really move them? I'm scared, he admitted. I know, Maya said, but scared is okay. Brave people are always scared. They just do it anyway. She took one small step backward, pulling him gently forward. Come toward me. Just one tiny step. Move your right foot. I won't let you fall. Daniel stared at his right foot. Move, he told it. Please move. His leg trembled. His knee bent slightly. And then his right foot lifted off the ground. Richard gasped so loudly that people looked at him instead of Daniel. But Richard didn't care. His son's foot was in the air. Actually, in the air. Daniel swung his foot forward. It wobbled. It shook. It landed hard and clumsy. But it landed in front of where it had been. One step. One perfect, beautiful, impossible step. Daniel looked up at Maya, his eyes huge. I took a step. You took a step. Maya laughed. I took a step. Daniel shouted to the whole plaza. Did everyone see? I took a step. The crowd went wild. Grown men cried. Women hugged strangers. The old woman with the cookies threw them in the air like confetti. Richard ran forward and caught Daniel just as his legs started to give out. He scooped his son into his arms and held him tight, sobbing into his hair. You did it, son. You did it. I'm so proud of you. Your mother would be so proud of you. I walked, Dad, Daniel cried. I walked for her. I walked for you. I walked for Maya. Richard looked at Maya over Daniel's shoulder. She stood there in her patched dress and bare feet, watching him with the saddest, happiest smile he'd ever seen. Come here, Richard said, opening one arm. Maya hesitated. Then she ran forward and let Richard pull her into the hug. The three of them stood there in the plaza, holding each other, crying and laughing and healing. After a long moment, Richard pulled back and knelt down so he could look both kids in the eye. Maya, he said seriously, I need to know your whole story. Will you tell me? Maya bit her lip. Then she nodded. Okay. They sat on a bench, Daniel in the middle, still too wobbly to walk far, and Maya told him everything. She told him about her parents, who were kind and loving but very poor. She told him about the tiny apartment where they were happy. She told him about last winter when the sickness came. First her father, then her mother. I tried to take care of Mama, Maya said, her voice small. But I was too little. I didn't know how. She got worse and worse. Then one day, she didn't wake up. What happened then? Daniel asked softly. The neighbors called someone. Social services, I think. They said they'd take me somewhere. But I got scared and ran away. I didn't want to go somewhere without Mama. So I lived on the streets. I've been out here for 7 months. Richard's heart broke into a million pieces. 7 months. This child had been alone and scared for 7 months. You're never going to be alone again, he said firmly. I meant what I said yesterday. You're family now. We're going to make it official. Papers and everything. You're going to live with us. You have your own room, your own bed, your own clothes. You're going to go to school. You're going to have birthdays and holidays and everything a kid should have. Maya's lip trembled. But why? Why would you do that for me? Because you gave me back my son, Richard said simply. And because every child deserves a home. And because... His voice cracked. Because I think you need us as much as we need you. Maya looked at Daniel. Is that true? Do you want me to stay? Are you kidding? Daniel said, You're my best friend. You're the person who made me walk again. Of course I want you to stay. Forever and ever. Maya started to cry. Not sad tears. Happy tears. The kind of tears that wash away pain and make room for joy. Okay, she whispered. I'll stay. Richard pulled them both close. Then it settled. We're a family. As the sun began to set, painting the plaza in gold and orange light, the three of them walked to the town car. Well, Richard and Maya walked. Daniel took 3 more steps before his legs got too tired, and Richard carried him the rest of the way. But that was okay. 3 steps today meant 6 tomorrow. 10 the day after. Before long, Daniel would be running again. The driver opened the door, and they climbed inside. The leather seats were soft and warm. Maya ran her hand over them in wonder. This is really real? She asked. This isn't a dream? It's really real, Daniel promised, taking her hand. As the car pulled away from the plaza, Richard looked back at the fountain, where everything had changed, where a homeless girl had done what 43 doctors could not do. She had given them hope. She had given them belief. She had given them each other. Where to Mr. Cole? The driver asked. Richard looked at the 2 children beside him. one who had learned to stand, one who had learned she could stop running, and smiled. "Home," he said. "Take us home." And as the city lights blurred past the window, 3 people who had been broken became one family that was whole. Daniel would walk again. He would run again. He would dance again. But more importantly, he would never be alone again. None of them would. Because sometimes the cure for what's broken isn't medicine or money or expertise. Sometimes it's just love and belief. And a barefoot girl who knew that hearts could heal legs if given the chance. Did this story touch your heart? If this story moved you, imagine how many other families are searching for hope right now. Share this story with someone who needs to remember that miracles can come from the most unexpected places. Like this story if you believe in the power of hope and kindness. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever witnessed an unexpected healing or act of compassion that changed everything? Subscribe for more emotionally powerful stories that remind us what really matters in life. Share this story with someone who needs to believe in miracles today. Remember, no doctor could cure the millionaire's son until a homeless girl did the impossible. Sometimes the greatest healing comes not from what we have, but from what we're willing to give. What impossible thing do you believe in today? Tell us in the comments below.